The Meat Show is coming to you from Atlantic City, New Jersey. We were in front of the Knife and Fork Inn, one of the oldest restaurants around. We're going to go find out about its history and try the steaks. So, if you've watched The Meat Show before, you're probably sick of me talking about how wonderful I find the cap of the rib steak, which is the spinatus dorsi muscle. But for the new guys, that's my favorite cut of meat, the piece around the eye of the rib steak. Let's see what's going on at Knife and Fork, and I can see that this looks like a nice dry piece of beef. That to me is just classic American cooking. Back in the 20s and the 30s, they didn't call beef dry-aged beef because everything was dry-aged back then. It was before refrigeration. And this is how beef used to taste. It used to be hung to tenderize it rather than being, vacuum sealed in plastic and sat on the shelf for a few weeks. So what this does, it develops really different flavors than you would get from just aging it in a bag. You get the same tenderness, but you're getting mineral-rich, a steeliness. You're getting these profound, tangy notes that you don't get from wet-aged beef. And that's what I'm getting with this steak. So if you eat at Knife and Fork Inn, I recommend you go for the dry-aged steak. Okay, well, let's see what's going on with this steak's crustacean cousin over here. Oh, look at that. I feel like it's gonna split. Oh my God, look at that. It's more land-based fat than it is sea creature. So basically, there's enough butter on that to qualify as a Meat Show episode. That is decadently rich. It's definitely something that, in the 1920s and 30s at the highlight of Atlantic City, like, this is something that only the well-here would probably eat, and probably eat in massive quantity. So I don't normally order lobster when I'm eating steak, to be honest with you, because, steak is sort of the main event. But we're in Atlantic City here, and I feel that, like, a seafood town, this is the perfect place to, like, do the surf and stuff. So I've really been holding out on doing a Meat Show episode until we get to the right place. And here we are, Knife and Fork Inn. You should get down here. I am here with Frank Doherty, who is one of the proprietors of Knife and Fork Restaurant. Now, your family are probably the oldest restaurateurs in Atlantic City. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, my great-grandfather started Doc's Oyster House in 1897.
Which is the oldest
operating restaurant. Knife Fork was built in 1912 as a men's club. Operated all the way until 1927 through many years of Prohibition. Still have stories of where the booze were hid, and in many cases, I guess they didn't hide anything, because it was a very political power broker type place.
It was the Boardwalk Empire, right?
Exactly. I mean, it was Commodore Cooney and all those guys. This was their clubhouse. This is where they hung, and so all the stories that you hear about Prohibition, not really affecting Atlantic City, it all started right here.
And this is what was affected least by Prohibition in all of Atlantic City.
So they finally succumbed in 1927, and they sold the property to the Latz family, who turned it into a restaurant.
Obviously, this place has a sense of history about it, and it has.
Sure.
It's an integral part of the Atlantic City story.
Yeah.
Right?
When I was growing up, it was a lot of seafood too. The Lobster Thermidor was always one of their specialties here. I know it dates back almost to 1927 for the
So
Latz,
it's certainly something that's been
family.
on the menu.
Yes.
And steaks, presumably.
And steaks as well. Yep.
Well, again, thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you very much for watching. Click here for the next episode. I just want it to go on forever and ever and just keep eating like an endless hot dog. It's just utterly superb. I love the savory nature of the hot dog itself and the deep frying kind of accentuates.